Hello to all my fellow burned-out nurse practitioners. I am so excited that you are here today watching this. I have Maggie Berghoff. She is a business expert here to talk to all of you about how to get started with an online health coaching business, here to answer your questions. I'm just so excited for all of this. So Maggie, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited and also passionate about your group specifically because I was there. It's so relatable because we'll talk a little bit about my story, I'm sure, but I started as a nurse practitioner and have found a different path for myself. And I think it's just so important for people to know what options there are out there because you can totally, your group is called the Burned-out Nurse Practitioner, but you can absolutely be a nurse practitioner and be fulfilled in your career, or you can have a career change or a pivot and find fulfillment elsewhere. So I'm really excited to be here and answer the questions that you guys have.
Yeah. And I think that's something that I never really realized, it's okay, to do something other than working as a nurse practitioner, because we just get stuck, we get our RN license and then we go through all this schooling and it's just scary and crazy to think, we might not be a nurse practitioner for the rest of our lives. But I just love that health coaching or online coaching just offers so many avenues and ways to still make an income and an impact. And yeah, I'm so excited. Why don't you give us a little bit of background onto kind of how you got started and then what you do now?
Yeah. Okay. So my background is I am a nurse practitioner, and that was definitely my dream job. I was so excited. And I actually did love my job for probably a little over a year. I was only a nurse practitioner for 2 years before I actually quit. Now, you don't have to quit. There are so many ways that you can find fulfillment in your work and in your world. But what I recognized is that two things. Number one, I actually wasn't aligned with traditional medicine anymore. And that was the model that I was in, working for the hospital. I was a traditional medicine nurse practitioner. But I also had seen other functional medicine practitioners and integrative medicine practitioners and healing my own body. And I also did not like what they were doing. And so it's interesting. I'm a functional medicine practitioner. I did end up going back to schooling to learn more about functional medicine, health coaching, lifestyle, balancing hormones naturally, all sorts of things like that to heal my own body. But when I was going through that, even the functional and integrative practitioners, I just felt like there's a flaw here and I want to do something different because no matter what practitioner I was seeing and what modality, I was left feeling like they don't even know what's going on with me. They're not even answering my questions. I'm still doing 6-month follow-ups, or perhaps I'm on 10 supplements now instead of 10 pharmaceutical medications. And it's what are we doing here? And so I was very passionate about healing the body in a completely different way. And so that happened. And at the same time, I was also feeling a lot restricted in my role of waking up and going to work and coming home, making dinner, cleaning dinner, going to sleep, repeat for the next 50 years. And that freaked me out. And I do think that some find comfort in that routine, and that's where they really enjoy being, and that is fulfilling for them. I know definitely some of my siblings love that, but I personally do not. And I definitely felt like I was going to suffocate if I stayed there because I wanted more freedom and flexibility in my days to live my life how I want, not to have to ask somebody for a day off if I just didn't want to work that day. I know that sounds a little, I don't know, head in the clouds, but I knew that that's what I wanted. I wanted freedom and flexibility, and also to stay home with my kiddos because I was just starting to have a family, but I still wanted a career. So it was kind of this mecca of things. I was unaligned in this model. I also did not like the restriction of having a typical job and having a boss. And then also I was about to start a family and I wanted to be a mom, but I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I knew that. I also wanted to still have a career in helping people with their wellness because that's why I became a nurse practitioner in the first place. So it was kind of this combination of things that happened. And all of a sudden I found myself quitting my nurse practitioner job and becoming an online health consultant and starting my own practice, which I never thought I would do. But that's in a nutshell, the path that, that initial thing that happened. And that was actually back in 2017. So I've been doing this for years.
Yeah. And just that, like you were saying, feeling tied down to a job, like so many burned out nurse practitioners experience that and they just crave, the flexibility or not having to abide to, rules from their employer or insurance regulations. They just want to take care of the patient. Like that's why so many of us went into healthcare, just to have that impact. And as we all know, that is difficult in traditional medicine. So, why don't
Yeah.
you talk a little bit about kind of how you got just started health coaching, and then also go into like what services you offer now?
Yeah. So a few things. So I did not know anything about this world. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I never wanted to be a business owner. And I didn't know any of the names in the industry. Like I wasn't following people who are doing this. And so some of the words that I might say you might like have never heard of, or this sounds like a foreign concept to you, because I know that it did. I never knew that there was anything different I could do than be a nurse practitioner in that role. And so, first of all, the second thing is that I say the word coach and consultant interchangeably. So if throughout this conversation you're like, wait, what's a health coach or what's a health consultant? What's a health strategist? It's all the same. I say them kind of interchangeably and it's just kind of what you're more aligned with. And so for me, I went into functional medicine. That's where I went to heal my own body. It's functional and integrative medicine. But many of our clients also dive into like holistic health. There's integrative healthcare practitioner certifications. There's health coach certifications, like a company called Mind Body Green, who I like so love. I would have done theirs probably if it had existed back then. But now they have I think it's a 20-week accelerated health coach certification program. And it's intensive. Like it's like going back to school, you're going to be working hard to achieve this, but you're learning things that you probably didn't learn in nurse practitioner school, like how to balance hormones naturally, how to address someone's lifestyle, how to reset circadian rhythms in a more natural way, just like all the different things of how to uncover what may be going on in a body to cause certain symptoms and certain diseases and work to actually fix it and reverse it, which is completely possible. And I don't believe it's something that we are able to do in a traditional medical role because we don't have the time to even do it. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like we were whipping in clients or patients. Now they're clients to me, but patients like every 10 minutes. And then they would come back and see you in 6 months and you're just refilling prescription. They're calling in for a refill. You're not even like asking them, how's your life? How's your stress? How's your nutrition? Like it's a totally different thing. So instead, what myself and our business consulting clients are doing now, we're building out programs where we help people in maybe like a 3-month package or a 6-month package where you and somebody else are working together for say 6 months to rebalance their hormones, heal their gut, fix their sleep, clear their skin, whatever their complaints are. You're working together in a really close-knit communication and relationship to rebalance the body. And so that is kind of the model that many of our clients are going toward. And it's more of a coaching consulting role where we're partnering with that other human and we're really there to support them through all of the things that encompass their life and be with them day to day throughout their healing journey versus a quick office visit and then see you in 6 months. It's completely different. That for me and for a lot of our clients, it's so fulfilling because we can see the transformation. We've made a complete impact on this person's life that is going to now impact everybody that they're surrounded with and the way that they raise their kids and the way they show up for themselves in the world and just all the different stuff. So that's a grasp at the type of models that we're doing, usually a package where it's not a one-off situation. They book an appointment whenever they need it. Because that's a big difference. Like they're like desperate for a refill or they're like, really, really struggling and they need this appointment. And then they're not going to book another one until they're in a crisis mode again. This is for people who are like, okay, I'm committed. I feel like crap. My doctors aren't helping me very much. I know there's another way. I'm ready to heal. And they sign up for your program to go through that journey with you.
Yes. And I just love that. Like, number one, the patient or the client just is able to change their life, because a lot of times, they need that support and they need that knowledge. And as a nurse practitioner, you're not able to give them that in a 15-minute appointment. And so just developing that relationship, and just really helping them through that. And then, like you said, on the flip side, the nurse practitioner just feels so more fulfilled, like they're actually able to help take care of their patients. And
Yeah.
I will say, like, as the burned out nurse practitioner, I have way more fulfillment and purpose, like helping nurse practitioners overcome burnout, than I do, in primary care. So yes. And I will add, I do like life and career coaching, which is, different than health coaching, but yet it's not, because you can still support someone and educate them, and they can make, changes and improve their life. And that's really what it's about.
It really is. And even that, so a lot of times when our clients, they find success with building their own business, suddenly they're running this online company, they're making more income, but working way less. They're seeing dream clients, their client testimonials are just like lighting them on fire. And that client not only is transforming the lives of all their health clients, but also their own. Like a lot of our testimonials, some of them aren't even about like the money they made or the people that they're helping. A lot of the testimonials that we have are like, oh my God, I love my life again. Wow, I could take my kids to the zoo today. I didn't have to ask off. My kid was sick and I was able to stay home. We took a 5-week vacation just because. It's like the lifestyle that you're able to build for yourself. And everybody has a different dream lifestyle for themselves. There's no right or wrong answer of what that looks like. It's just what's important to you and what do you want this life to look like? And then what we do actually is we help you work backward to making a business align with that. So it's not even, a lot of times the draw isn't even like, I want to be a business owner. Like that's not what it was for me. It was like, I want a different life for myself and I still want a career. And I love helping people with their wellness. So it makes perfect sense. So for all of your clients and audience, Erica, it's like, okay, what do you want your life to look like? And then backtrack. You could totally make that lifestyle look however you want it in maybe a traditional nurse practitioner role, but finding a way to make it more fulfilling, less stressful, making your outside hours where you're not on your shifts really adventurous or filled with joy or hobbies or things like that. Or you can make a pivot like I've done and transform everything and really step out on your own and do something different.
Yeah. And so I am still working full time as a nurse practitioner and doing the burned out NP, like on the side. But I mean, like I had said, just have so much more passion and fulfillment with doing that. And I've made some more income. And so, I've been able to pay off some more debt, or I'm going to take my family on a really nice vacation. And so all of those, are perks of still working as a nurse practitioner, but I'm also building up the burned out NP. Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of our clients will do that is they don't just like, some do quit cold turkey and they're like, Maggie, I quit my job. Let's do this. But a lot of them don't. A lot of them stay in their job and they start to build a business on the side. It's like the side hustle at first until you start to get those first clients and you start to, get your feet wet. And then you can kind of sense sometimes it's like a very gradual transition. And sometimes it's based on income where you can see, yes, I can make this work. Because a lot of our clients, a lot of you are probably maybe the breadwinners of your family and you have other people to support than just yourself. So you have to think about these things. But sometimes it's financial where you see clearly, yes, I'm going to make this work. There's no way I can't, like, I won't, this is happening. And then sometimes with our clients, like one of our clients just quit her job and she was like, it wasn't even financial. Like, I know, like, even if I struggle a little bit the next year, it's okay because I cannot stay in this other thing anymore because every day when I go, it's like negative and it's draining and I don't want to do it anymore. And I know that my end goal is to see clients online and build my own business. And so if every single day I'm still doing the thing that is draining me and it's kind of like a toxic relationship, that's going to harm her from getting to her ultimate goal. And so for her, it wasn't really monetary. She was okay not making the exact same amount at first, I mean, spoiler alert, she actually, when she quit her job, everything started to like flood her way. And now she's like, has so many clients. And it was kind of like that, quitting that and now being free energetically and time wise to work on what she wanted to do. But it's a really interesting thing. And I will say also with some of our clients, they stay nurse practitioners. I know this is probably a common question. It's like, do I keep my license? Do I not keep my license? How does that work? Some of our clients do keep their licenses and they work like really in like a telemedicine, telehealth role. And with that, you can do that depending on what state you live in, making sure that you have maybe a collaborative if you need a collaborative, but you can definitely do that and still be your own boss and see these online clients, build online programs, things like that. Or what I've done and what many of our clients do is we actually forego our license completely. Like I'm not a nurse practitioner anymore. I always will till forever because that's what my degree is, but I'm not actively practicing as a nurse practitioner. I'm a health consultant or health coach or health strategist, health educator, health leader. I'm all those things. And that was really hard for me when I first started. My ego did not want to let go of that license because I worked really hard for it. And I thought, if I'm not a nurse practitioner, why would they hire me and trust me? And I thought, I worked so hard to get this nurse practitioner degree. If I let this go, then like, I'm just like everybody else, all these other health coaches that aren't nurse practitioners. But what I realized is that that mentality was keeping me stuck from what I actually wanted in life. Like that piece of paper or that active license wasn't making me happy. It wasn't helping clients in the way that I was passionate about. It wasn't making me a better mom to show up for like my kids and my family the way I wanted to. And it had a serious cap. Like as hard as I work or as ambitious as I am, I'm not really going to grow very much. Not really. And so I recognized that and I decided that all the things that I want are actually in a more like coach role. Like I want to work with someone one-on-one. I want to coach them through their problems. I want to help support them. I want to help them be an advocate for their health. I want to help them restructure their family life, their routine, their stress, their sleep, their nutrition, all the things. I want to be a coach. And that was so interesting to like have that transition because here I am, you know, going to a really great school, getting a really esteemed degree, working really hard. And in my mind at first, I thought that was a downgrade to transition to a coach, but actually it was the most massive upgrade I could have ever made because it made me happy. It helped people in a way bigger way. Now I'm a published author. Multiple countries have picked up my book. I'm impacting millions. I make multi-millions and I'm only working a handful of hours a week. Like I'm working way less. And it's just, it's like that ego would have kept me stuck forever. And I would never have experienced what was on the other side if I really just followed my heart. So there are lots of ways to go about it, but I want you to know whether you decide, I want to keep my license and I do want to start my own business, but in a licensed role, amazing. We support you with that. Or if you decide, I'm ready to pivot, this is not making me happy, I want to do this other thing, that's awesome too. Either way you go, it's a status upgrade from where you are.
Absolutely. And that actually brings up a few questions that some of my followers had. So in regards to, you know, being a health coach, what are some things that you are not doing, like, you know, prescribing medications, that sort of thing, that you might have as like a nurse practitioner?
Well, that's the biggest one. You're not prescribing. So with that, I personally was like, well, that's fine. I don't really want to prescribe anyways. Like somebody else can manage the prescription and the dosage changes and all the different things. I really that's not what fulfilled me. What fulfilled me was focusing on the coaching things, the lifestyle, the mindset, the habit changes. Like I said, nutrition a lot, the nutrition, the gut health, you know, navigating their life in a different way. And so I don't prescribe medications. And then what I do instead is I help my clients be more educated to be their own advocate. So that if they are going to a doctor appointment, they know what medication they may want to ask for because perhaps it has a little less side effects. Or if they are, you know, working with me for 6 weeks and we've made a bunch of great progress, I'm like, hey, Ash, you should definitely go to your practitioner, ask them to redraw your labs because I bet they have changed. Maybe you could have a medication dosage change. So I'm helping to support them. And that's where my heart is. And so I don't do that. And that is one of the big differences with coaching versus keeping your license. And so that's what I do. The other big difference would be giving a diagnosis and accepting insurance. I do not accept insurance as a coach, and I also don't give any diagnoses. I don't diagnose and treat. I give recommendations and I support. And again, that's just where my heart lies. And that's where I'm really good at anyways. Like that's my skill set. And so with that, instead of saying to somebody, you know, ICD-10, whatever, like this is what your diagnosis is, and here's your medication for that. Instead, I'm saying, whoa, it definitely looks like you probably have imbalances in your hormone levels and your gut. Whoa, what do you think about this? What should we do? How can we adjust your lifestyle to support this? And so I'm helping to rebalance and rewire the body, decrease inflammation, decrease mental stress, toxicities in their environment, things like that to support the body. But I'm not giving them a formal diagnosis and treatment. So I hope that's clear. There are gray lines, of course. Everybody's like, but what about the gray areas? Like, it's so gray. That is true. Sometimes it's confusing. But as long as you're showing up and you're helping somebody in a way that you truly believe that you're helping them in a good way, and you're not on purpose doing something you shouldn't, like, don't go prescribe a medication when you know you shouldn't. You should be okay. And, you know, if you learn about something like, hey, technically you should have the client order their own lab test, or, oh, you should probably partner with a nutritionist to give them their personalized nutrition plan. Cool. Then do that. Create an awesome partnership with the nutritionist, and the nutritionist can be a part of your program where they get 3 calls with her and she gives the personalized nutrition plan. There are just so many ways around it that if there's something that you can't do as a coach that you know you want to do, amazing. That's a partnership waiting to happen, and you can collaborate with someone amazing and support your clients in that big way.
Absolutely. Okay, so this next question is a nurse practitioner who already has like a weight loss. It sounds like a brick and mortar clinic established. So what are some ways that they could implement coaching, specifically like online coaching?
When our clients have brick and mortar practices already, there are a few options. I'll kind of go through what we've seen. By the way, we've been teaching business and marketing for a long time. We've had over 1,000 entrepreneurs build their brands with us. So I've kind of seen it all and helped with it all. With brick and mortar practices, my clients are either super burned out and they're like, I'm done. I don't want to go to the office. I don't want to have the front desk staff. I don't want to have the overhead. I'm done. And so if that's the situation, we either sell the brick and mortar or we shut it down, depending on like where they are. The third option for that, if you're like, I'm done, is we staff it. So if you can hang on for a little bit and you're detached, you want to get rid of this, but you kind of see like it would be beneficial to keep, we will help you to staff that so that you are the founder of that company forever and ever, but you're not the CEO. You're not running it day to day. You're not the practitioner seeing the clients. So that's some options of if you're like, oh, I'm done with this. Now, if you're like, I love my brick and mortar, what more? What else can I do? There are a lot of options for you. Number one, you can build an online course. So the online course will be helpful for your brick and mortar clients to go through. You can give them access to that. So they're going through a program. I think you mentioned hers is weight loss. So they're going through maybe a weight loss program online with modules and trainings and checklists and PDFs, things like that. And you can sell it separately to anyone on the internet, all the millions and millions and millions of people who need help with their weight loss. You can build a brand around your program and you can sell it online. And when you think about that, say the program is $1,000, you only need 10 people who want to lose weight to invest in that $1,000 program to make an extra $10,000 a month. That's an extra 6 figures a year. Pretty simple when you break it down like that. And so that's one area that you can grow into. Another area you can grow into as a brick and mortar wanting to do more is having an online coaching component. And typically with our clients, that is essentially a different company. You would file for a new business name and you'd have your brick and mortar business and you'd have your online consulting business. Totally different companies, totally different clients. They sign different contracts. They get different services. And so with your brick and mortar people, maybe you are prescribing medications or doing weight loss drugs or medications, things like that. Maybe you're doing like traditional medicine things in your clinic, but for your online clients, perhaps they're going through a 3-month women's weight loss program and it's coaching, consulting, and the course that they get access to. So they're just very different audiences and offers and contracts. that's a really great way to do that as well. And then the
Yeah.
last thing I will say with the brick and mortar is there's one more thing is that really recently, actually, one of our people who have a really great brick and mortar in Scottsdale, she implemented our online business marketing strategies in her brick and mortar, and the practice went crazy. The team members were more aligned, more streamlined. They had less no-shows for appointments. They had better client results because of implementing things like brand strategy, email marketing campaigns, certain promotions. So you can also implement some really awesome online marketing strategies to improve the brick and mortar itself as well.
And the online world is just crazy. Like I have just learned so much about email marketing and SEO and how to do all of that online. And if you're not familiar with that, I mean, there's tons of programs. Maggie, you have a program just to educate people on how to do that. And I also love the idea of having, brick and mortar with also something online because, maybe like you said, you get someone to run that brick and mortar, or maybe you're open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the other 2 days you're at home in your pajamas seeing clients. Like that's just so many different opportunities and examples of that.
There are.
Okay.
And I think that if you can definitely have a brick and mortar and you stay there and you're fine. But for me personally, I'm always wanting to make a bigger impact to help more people. That's why I wrote my book. I didn't grow up thinking like, I want to be an author. Just like I didn't think I wanted to be a business owner. That wasn't my story. It wasn't like my little girl dream to write a book someday. It's because I wanted to help more people. And I knew that they can't all work with me. I definitely can't help them all. And neither can my team, but they could probably buy like a $15 book. And so, if you care and you're thinking about like that impact of how can I help more people, going online 100% is the way to go, because you're going to be able to reach so many people, whether that's through a book, a course, coaching programs, or even just education and spreading. I don't want to overwhelm you too much, but spreading awareness with health brands. So, brands may pay you to do a post on Instagram about their brand. And if you believe in that brand and you want more people to know about it, all you do is post on Instagram about this brand. You make incredible income and more people know how to, the product that they use. I'm like looking for an example, the product that they should use to clean off their countertops, to reduce toxins in their environment. And you know that now their kids are healthier and so are they. And you made income in doing that. So there are just so many examples of how you as a burned out nurse practitioner can make more income, make more impact, and have more fulfillment in your work.
That's the total package right there.
Yes.
Okay. One question. This one's from Belle. So she is a nurse practitioner who is very experienced, board certified in diabetes care, an education specialist, and a trained diabetes coach already. So we kind of touched on this, but as far as like scope of practice, as a nurse practitioner and a diabetes coach, like, do you have any former clients that have kind of gone down like that diabetes route with their already, certifications and knowledge and everything?
Yeah. So the majority of our clients would say something like this in their bio, maybe like, I used to be a nurse practitioner. I saw all these diabetics coming all the time. I was giving them, sugar regulation medications and all this kind of stuff. And they were just coming back and they always had diabetes. But then I got certified as a diabetic health coach. And I recognized that we can actually reverse this diabetes and we can help them live a healthier life. And so I made the transition from a nurse practitioner seeing diabetic clients staying sick to a diabetic health coach seeing online clients getting them well. And so now I see clients around the world, and we have my signature 6-month diabetic reversing or diabetic healing, rebalancing things program to help you with your health or diabetes specifically. That's a great niche and so helpful. And so if you can kind of sense like that works with anything, but like that's the transition. So if you wanted to go all in on a diabetic certified health coach, like I love that. Your nurse practitioner still gives you credibility. It's your path. No one can take that away from you. Like you got that degree. It's maybe hanging in your office somewhere or in a black portfolio. You have that for life. And you can tell the story of why you no longer do that because you care about people who have diabetes and you weren't helping them in that model. And so you made a big change. And now here's how you help the people who have diabetes to actually heal their body. And so it's so much credibility. It's so powerful. And you're not less credible because you're not working as a nurse practitioner. You're actually more credible because you actively chose to work as a certified diabetic health coach to help people in this bigger way that you know is the right answer for them. And so that's really what you would do. And if you decided to forego your licensure, instead of being the person in charge of their medications, you would be in charge of their healing and their rebalancing and their rewiring. And then again, you would help to educate them and be their advocate for maybe altering their medications or getting off of medications or things like that. You'd be helping to support them. And they need you. Because when they like message their portal for the office or things like that, like a lot of times, it's usually even just like the front desk staff answering. You guys all know that's true. It's not even your own doctor. Yeah. And if it is, they probably come and they're like, hey, I have a person who's wondering about if they should take less or more of this. They don't even know who the person is asking, what the context is, or what it is. They're just giving a quick answer. Instead, now this person who has diabetes or whatever they're struggling with can message you, the coach or the consultant, and explain what's going on. Tell them you're having a bad day, ask what to do, etc. And you're like actually there for them to support them through that. It's a completely different model.
Yeah, I love that. And like we've said this whole call, more impact, just helping that patient and helps you out more too. Yeah. The next question is from Jamie. Can you talk a little bit about like startup costs and then also kind of that tax structure? Like, I mean, I'm thinking, do you need to form an LLC, that sort of thing?
Yeah. So with what we do, we specialize in online businesses. Like I said, some of our clients have brick and mortars, but they're not thrilled with them. Like we're trying to restructure staff, change some things, et cetera, but we're really focused on online companies. So with that, you do want to get usually an LLC, depending where you live, what country you're in, things like that. But typically you'll get an LLC. However, our lawyer that most of our clients use says that that's not even like the most important thing. Like you could start seeing clients without an LLC in most areas, as long as you have it within like the first year and a half or something of business. So startup wise, the costs are super, super low. Most of our clients run their businesses for under $200 a month. And it's a good question, because when I started my business, I didn't even know that there would be expenses. Like I'm telling you guys, I was like so zero. I had no social media, no connections, and no knowledge. I didn't know anyone doing this. So even when I got my URL, like my website, maggieberghoff.com, I remember I was like, what? I have to pay for this? And I was like, it's like $12 a month or something. But I didn't even know that like I had to pay for the URL. So there are expenses like that, but typically our clients are running their businesses for under $200 a month, and they're making multi-six figures per year. So it makes a lot of sense. And you can do it for even less than that. When I first started, I did not have money to invest. I was so nervous. I didn't know what I was doing. So I really was at like less than $47 a month. The website I was using was almost free. It was like $14 a month. And then my email and like things like that. So it was like these little like $10 things. And it was probably definitely under $100 per month that I was running my multi-six figure business in that first year. And so you can definitely do it very low. But I will say that I wish I had done this, and I really recommend you to do it too, is invest in a mentor. And I do mentorship, and we have business mentorship programs. We have coaches, we have a team, we have online programs. Even if you're like, I don't really align with Maggie, like I want to find something else, cool. But find something, because it is going to save you so much time and money. Although you're going to invest in a coach to teach you how to build your business, you're going to be able to get successes faster, and you're not going to be one of the statistics of the people who it doesn't work out for. You're actually going to be able to make this happen, because you're learning directly from other people who have learned what you need to know, and they're simply telling you what to do. And especially with you guys, like nurse practitioners, you're all smart. Like you wouldn't be a nurse practitioner if you weren't smart and you couldn't learn. So if someone just gave you like the exact step-by-step of what to do to have a six-figure, seven-figure, $1 million business, whatever it is that your goals are, you'd be able to follow the steps and make it happen. But right now you don't know the steps. And it's so confusing to figure it out, especially if you're like Googling and YouTubing, because everybody has all this different information. And so I would say, try to, if you can, invest in a mentor, a coach, a program, something to teach you, and that would be your startup cost. But the actual cost of running the business is super, super low.
Yeah. So when I started the Burned-out Nurse Practitioner, this was back in like 2021. It was before I had heard of your program. I wish I would have known about you then, but I did invest in like a group coaching program to start like an online coaching business. And I don't remember, it was like $2,600 or something. And I remember thinking at the time, oh my goodness, this is so much money. Like, what if this fails, like everything. But what I learned in that program, it was a game changer. Like it just helped so much to have that support, number one. And then number two, the knowledge. Cause like you said, you can go out and YouTube, how to start this, but when it was all together, when it was all exactly what you need to know, not any of the fluff or anything, that was just incredible. And I made enough. I had a little bit of a slower start, but I recouped that, initial cost within the first year. No problem.
Yeah.
Like it was
It makes
crazy.
sense. Like, especially if you're YouTubing, like how to start a business. Like, are you kidding me? Like, find someone doing what you want to do and just follow their steps, because you're going to be, even if you Google something and you're like, oh, this is the right answer, you're going to second guess yourself and be like, is this the right answer for my business, my situation, my goals? And it's so much harder. I feel bad for the people who do that, honestly, because typically maybe they're nervous to invest in our program, but then they come back a year later and they're like, oh, I wish I would have done it because I wasted $20,000 on this other stuff and it didn't work. And I just wasted all this time. I'm still in the same position. Whereas the clients who just did it, like invested initially, are already where they want to be. So it is like, I do think it's very, very important to invest in your business. And also, like, another thing is that people are fearful of that. Like you said, like you were scared of that $2,600. I agree. The first business thing that I ever did, it was actually an event and it was like $3,500 and I was so scared. But when you think about it, we all spent a good amount to be nurse practitioners. Yes. And it didn't make us happy. It made an ROI for some, like some people still have school bill, not medical bills, school loans to pay off. So like, or perhaps investing X $2,600 to build a business. Like that's like a lot of people who build businesses, they take out loans for hundreds of thousands, but you won't have to do that because in the online space, it's super low. And so you'll be able to ROI pretty quickly and save yourself a lot.
Yeah, you don't need that, medical malpractice insurance. You don't need a charting system. Like you don't need the brick and mortar with all of those expenses and everything. So yeah, you can definitely run the online business very, very low cost. So the next question that I have is from Katie, and it is, how do you market yourself or like your services?
There are various ways to market. So don't think because of how I market myself. If you're like, there's no way I would want to do that, that doesn't mean you can't be an online business owner, because there are so many ways. But I personally chose to use Instagram at first. And I started, like, when I got an Instagram profile is when I started my business. So it's not like I already had some following or an influence or anything like that. No. And so I started an Instagram account. And I posted just what I was doing in my life. There was no crazy strategy, no professional videography. My house was not beautiful and aesthetic. It was like an old 70s house. My first house I moved into, it was like bright orange laminate countertop. Like it was not cute. And so, but I showed up and I simply let people know what I was doing in my life. I would show them myself doing laundry and why I use non-toxic laundry detergent. I would show myself making my lunch and why I'm including this ingredient. I would show them or tell them, I told my story. That really helped a lot. I told my story of how I struggled with my health and these symptoms, and it ended up causing all this stuff. And I reversed it, and here's how. And then I would always have a call to action, CTA, for how you can work with me. So I would say, if you're also struggling with this mystery illness and all your doctors are bouncing you around medication after medication, and last year you were normal, let's talk, because there's probably something going on that we can fix. I also shared lab testing that I was doing, and that was really enticing for people to learn more about what was going on in their body, these lab tests that their traditional practitioners aren't running, things like that. So I shared. Now that is a big way that I marketed myself. And still now we do Instagram and we also do TikTok now. And those are our two platforms, with Instagram being the main platform. The other way that I got clients right away is literally just talking about what I do. My very first client I ever had, I met her at the sauna at the YMCA in my small town in Indiana. Like we were just chatting and she was telling me about how she has these gut health problems, like she's bloated no matter what she eats and all this kind of stuff. And I had the confidence to say, even though I was scared, I was like, oh, well, I can help you. I'm a nurse practitioner at the hospital over here, but I just started my online health coaching business. Like, I definitely can help you with your gut health. And so we chatted and she became my first client. She would never have become my first client. And maybe I wouldn't even have ever had like that momentum and confidence to be like, oh my God, it's working, if I hadn't talked about what I did. So talking about what you did to the people, what you do to the people around you, and not shying away from that conversation just because you aren't successful yet. If you're shying away from the conversation because you're not successful yet, you won't be successful. So starting to talk about what you're doing. And the third way that I got those initial clients was by getting in front of other people's audiences. I did not have my own audience. I had like 200 followers and they were mostly from college and high school. So getting in front of other people's audiences helped me get those initial handful of clients and build momentum and money. So that would be through like being on a podcast or being on an online summit. I know you guys maybe have seen like online summits, like the Gut Health Summit or the Hashimoto Summit, things like that. I would be a speaker on those summits or on a podcast, mainly sharing my story and tips that I did in my life or that I believe in to reduce inflammation. My whole thing is like reducing inflammation and healing your body. So I would talk about those topics, and that's how I would get some influx of clients. Those are some main ways that I saw the most in my like first year of business, the most momentum in gaining clientele, and what most of our clients do as well.
And it's definitely scary to like market yourself or your services. Like you don't want to come off as salesy. But like you said, Maggie, when you're providing that information, you're showing, what you've been through and how you were able to overcome that. That is just, it's not salesy. Like you're giving that information, and then people start to, be like, oh, they're the expert in this. Like they kind of start to build a relationship and trust with you. And then they want to work with you further and pay you for all of your services. So yes, that's a great example.
And it's not salesy. Like if you genuinely love what you do and you're very passionate about a certain topic, like you want to talk about it. I wanted to shout it from the rooftops. So I did. Like, so, talking about what you do, it just comes so natural. And all these poor people in the world are struggling so bad. Like they need your help. And I think it's really selfish if you don't talk about what you do. If you have a huge passion around something and you're not telling people how they can work with you because you think it might be salesy, that's so sad. These people are searching and Googling and like crying, trying to find someone like you, but they can't find you because you won't get out there and be seen. And so like, I really think that instead of feeling like, oh, I don't want to feel salesy, I don't want them to feel like I'm selling to them. They want you to sell to them. They're sick of the current model that they're in. They're trying to find practitioners, coaches, consultants like you. And it's your job to make it a little easier for them to find you. And by simply talking about what you love to talk about and what you do in your everyday life anyways.
And that thought right there has helped me overcome, the imposter syndrome and all the self-consciousness. And I'm like, you know what? There's a nurse practitioner out there who is burned out. Like they need to hear what I have to say. I want to help them. And that definitely helps kind of change the mindset. It's not as scary when you're making an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets easier as you get that positive feedback. So even if like, I remember one time my sister-in-law, because when I first started, again, like it was my family and friends looking at my stuff. But one time, even my sister-in-law was like, oh my gosh, I bought those dryer balls that you recommended. And like that face wash, thanks so much. I love it. And that to me was like, oh, people are listening. Like she bought the things that I was talking about. And like, now she's like she also like started learning about organic from me and just stuff like that. And it like, you really are making the most massive impact. And a lot of times it's like things that are kind of common sense to you now, but to somebody else, it's like mind blowing. And so it's just really cool getting that positive reinforcement. I mean, just the other day I was on the call with a health client, and because I still see health clients, and then also, of course, I'm a business mentor with that company. But I'm involved in both. And the other day I was talking to a girl, and I was talking to her about non-toxic makeup because she was asking me questions about like, yeah, but like, what do I wear with this? Her mind was blown. She's taking notes. She's so pumped. She's so excited to try all this stuff out. And she had no idea that her makeup products could be causing inflammation or skin problems and just harming her body. She had no idea. This was a couple days ago. So some people out there, let's go back to like the diabetic example, like they don't know the things that you think are common sense, and you could transform their whole world by sharing those things with them. And so I just think that also that positive reinforcement of them saying, whoa, I didn't know that. That was so helpful. Wow, I just implemented that. I just bought that thing. I just started, going outside in the morning like you told me to. It's so cool. And that's going to give you the internal drive and motivation to be like, well, I really am making an impact here, to keep on going.
Absolutely. That is so helpful. We have just a few more questions here. So the next one is, do you need any special training or certification to start health coaching?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give legal advice, but usually no. Health coaching is a pretty unregulated industry. And in the future, I hope it is more specific of like, this is what you do. Because right now it's like very unclear. So typically, no, you don't need to be formally certified to be a health coach, health consultant. Some states now have said, yes, you do. And so there are so many different certification programs out there. The one that I initially went to is called Institute for Functional Medicine. They also have a sister company called Functional Medicine Coaching Academy, specific to coaching. And those are both great. They are longer. It takes a couple years actually to go through that. So I mentioned earlier, actually, like Mind Body Greens. I think that that's amazing. If you're like, I do want to be certified, just so I have that extra coverage, I can in fact say that I'm certified. That program, I think, is about 20 weeks, which maybe sounds intimidating at first, but look how fast the years go. If you just start now, in 20 weeks, it'll be over. And so I do think that if you're concerned about that, do it. But in general, it's not really legally needed. And I promise your clients do not care. Not once.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're not going to ask you. They don't care. They don't know what it even means. And they don't know any of those letters behind your name, nor do they care. They just want to know, do they align with your story? Do they align with you? Do they think that you can help them? And are you making it easy for them to buy from you? Like, that's the thing, like, make it easy for them to enroll with you. Don't make it a secret that you work with clients. Tell them, I work with clients. I work with clients. You can work with me anywhere in the world. Because there are a lot of health and wellness people out there who are influencers, content creators, educators, and they don't see clients. So if you do want to see clients, tell them over and over and over again that you do that. And so that, I guess, is like the biggest, most general thing about health coach certification. Usually legally, you don't need it. Sometimes you do. There are so many programs out there that you can get certified in different things. And then last is that your clients do not care at all. So you can start seeing clients right now, as long as you have the proper contracts in place to indicate that you're not a nurse practitioner in this role, you're acting as a health coach, et cetera. You can start seeing clients right now. They're not going to ask you about a certification program.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, most people don't even, know the difference or know that that's a thing. So they just want help. They just want to feel better. They just want to change their life.
I've been doing this since 2017, and I don't think one time ever a client has even asked me if I'm a nurse practitioner or a health coach or anything. They see my stuff and they're like, "Ooh, I want help with that." And then that's it. That's all they care about. They're not asking. They don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the last question that I have here is just giving like some examples of the types of clients that you can work with, or kind of, picking that niche. So, who you want to work with. So for example, I was burned out in healthcare and I overcame that. And so I can, really relate to the nurse practitioners that I help. Like, I understand, like I went through it and I overcame it. So that's like one example. Like you said, Maggie, you had your own health issues that you were struggling with and you overcame that. And now you're teaching other people how to do that. So what are some like examples of clients in your program, or the clients that they're helping?
That's a really good place to start. And First of all, a lot of people, when they're choosing their niche or like what they should focus on, sometimes our clients in our programs, they poor things, they burn themselves out just thinking about it. They'll like spend 4 months thinking about what niche they should choose. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these other clients are already like thriving. Like just pick something because you can change your mind. You don't have to think of like a 5-year plan or like the whole rest of your career. Just focus on right now, who can you help? What do you love talking about anyway? What comes really naturally to you? What story do you have? Something that you overcame. So I think the easiest way to think about it and the most natural way is, what's your story? Do you have some kind of thing that you overcame? Like Erica was burned out and now she's not. She can help people to figure that out. I had like so many different like autoimmune stuff and hypothyroidism and gut health issues and all this infertility, all this kind of stuff. And I completely reversed it all. What did I do? How did I do that? I can teach someone that. If you were suffering with insomnia for 15 years and then you figured it out and now you sleep like a baby or sleep so amazing, what did you do? Help someone through that. There are countless examples of that. So think about, what is your story and how can you turn that mess that you went through into your message that will help somebody in such a big way? And it's so natural. And we just talked about health coach certification. Like, that's not the credibility. The credibility is that you went through this exact same thing that your ideal clients are going through, and you can speak that, you know the pain they're feeling, and you are the shining example of what will happen if they follow your advice to get from where they are to where they want to go. That's the best credibility in the entire world, your story. And so that's one helpful thing. Now, some of you might be like, well, I don't really have a story. Like, I've always felt really good. Like, I don't really know. What do you love doing? What are you naturally, excited about? I know for me, I could totally have a business in like non-toxic organic children, because I could have a certification in that. I have researched, when I started having babies, I researched every non-toxic organic item. We do like the Montessori stuff and like the learning strategies and just even like the bedding sheets that I buy. I could definitely have a program where I help moms to create non-toxic, healthy environments for their children. So I didn't like go through some kind of struggle with that, but I'm very passionate about that. So I could absolutely be a shining example of someone who prioritizes that, who's done all the work to figure it out, and who can now teach somebody else how to follow that in their life and their family. So thinking about those things will really help you. What you do not want to do is think about what's going to make the most money. I've had that happen where clients come in and they're like, well, I heard that men's health makes great money because it's a less saturated niche. You're not going to make great money because that's not where your passion is. It doesn't matter. So wherever you are like so excited, if someone's talking to you and you start getting on a topic and you're like, you can't stop talking about it, you love it so much, that's what you should be doing.
Absolutely. All right. That was so helpful. I hope we answered all the questions there. Maggie, if you can talk a little bit about Online Business Academy and just how you help healthcare providers in general, just start, that online coaching business.
Yeah, so we have Online Business Academy, which is start to scale and how to build and then brand, market, and scale your business. So it's actually not even all going to apply to all of you right now. It's really meant to support you through your entire career. You have lifetime access to this. And it's all of the things that we use to go from zero to now we make multi-7 figures per year. And so do many of our clients who started from zero with us. So we're going to take you from start to wherever you want to land, to wherever you want to grow into. And with the Online Business Academy, we really focus on, what is your core offer? Who are you going to help? How are you going to market? Like, we teach all the marketing strategies, but we want you to identify which one aligns with you. Oh, TikTok, awesome. Go through the TikTok course. Email marketing, cool. Start building your email list. Go through that section. But we hand you all of the trainings, tutorials, checklists, PDFs, all that kind of stuff, so that you can replicate and learn exactly how to build and grow your own business. How we help you to monetize is typically 3 ways. We teach you one-on-one health coaching. So like opening up your computer and seeing someone one-on-one. It's amazing. And it's how I recommend most people to start. You can charge higher level prices or higher ticket prices. You can work from anywhere. You only need a handful of clients to exceed your current income. So maybe instead of seeing 40 patients a day, 5 days a week, you only have 3 clients at a time and you're making the same amount of money and you just help 3 people. So it's very
crazy.
very less, very less effort, more income. And so then what we do is after one-on-one, we do teach you how to launch an automated course because I think that they are phenomenal. So we teach automated courses and group programs. And so we're helping you navigate those different ways to monetize your passions.
Yes. And like I mentioned earlier, you guys, I went through a program that, showed me exactly how to get started, what to do, how to set up the email marketing and how to pick a specific niche. And it was just so helpful. And I was just light years ahead of, where I would have been if I would have tried it by myself. So
Yes.
that is so awesome. And then I also wanted to mention that Maggie, you and I had previously done a webinar really just talking about, transitioning from a burned out nurse practitioner into a successful, free, flexible life or health coach. And so I will definitely share the link about that. You guys can definitely watch that. Do you have anything else to add, Maggie? Do you have any other questions or suggestions or anything?
I think it just the first thing that I always like to teach people, like, this is an option for you. So that it is definitely an option. And then I think you have to get real with yourself. Like, do you want to be an entrepreneur? Because a lot of times I see people hold themselves back from making this change because they're scared about all the negative what ifs. Like, well, what if it doesn't work out? Well, what if my license gets taken away? What if someone sues me? What if whatever, like just all the negative what ifs. What if I post on social media and someone makes fun of me? Instead of thinking of the positive what ifs, like, what if you end up exceeding your income while only working 2 days a week, spending the rest of the time with your kids? What if you make such a big impact that you become a thought leader in the world of headaches? What if, like, all the positive what ifs? Thinking of those things are going to help you so much, because when most of your clients, Erica, and your audience, they're burned out nurse practitioners, they have not yet made that jump, except for some of the questions it sounds like they had.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're making that leap into entrepreneurship, your only decision right now is, do you want to be an entrepreneur? Yes or no? Because if you do, then you know what the next step is. Like, you have to put the things in place. Just like when you decided I want to be a nurse practitioner, you went to nurse practitioner school. So if you decide I want to be an entrepreneur, done, go be an entrepreneur. Like, start now, hire a mentor, get into a program like Online Business Academy and start taking the steps to make that happen so that it actually does. I would just say that's kind of the biggest thing I'll leave you with, is that you can listen to something like this and be inspired, but unless you take action, you're going to still stay stuck in the situation that you're in. When in reality, I promise you, it's way more simplistic than you would think to build your complete dream life and monetize usually more than what you were doing in the life that you no longer loved.
Yeah, that is such a good just mindset shift that, as nurse practitioners, we've probably never even thought of. We didn't think that was possible. Like, we talked about this kind of at the beginning of the call, but, just thinking that it is possible to have more freedom of your time, more flexibility, and make more income at the same time. Like, it's just not something that we had ever considered. So, that's so awesome. Thank you, Maggie, for being here. We really appreciate it. And everyone, you're probably watching this replay, but I'll put some of the links for the other webinar that we did, and how they can get a hold of you and learn more about health coaching. So thank you so much, Maggie.
Thank you, guys. I'm excited for all of you, whatever path you take next. Like, I know that you're here in Erica's group because you're ready for a change. So I'm excited for you. Congrats. And hopefully look forward to supporting a lot of you guys on your business journeys.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.